Okay, guys, so what makes Anthony Joshua great? He's got the matchroom behind him. He's got a lot of hype around him. He's got the look. He's got the appeal. Guys love him. Women love him even more. And he seems like he's the next big thing in boxing. But does he have the goods in the ring? He's been knocking out opponents, 100% knockout ratio. He hasn't gone 12 rounds yet. He's ticking all the right boxes. He's doing the right things. So what makes Anthony Joshua great? Why is he performing like this against the opposition he's performing against? Is it weak opposition? Not necessarily. He has beaten Dillian White. And man like Dylan, Dylan, right, is a brilliant fighter. Okay, he's good and he's solid. He's not a bum. He's not a pushover. Joshua knocked him out, struggled a little bit. But looking at Anthony Joshua, he is relatively young inside that ring. He hasn't had too much professional experience at the higher top tier level. And he's still learning, and he has got learning to do, and he's got a lot of growing to do, and I think he should be allowed to grow. Okay, he is IBF champion. He's won the IBF strap, but that doesn't mean anything in today's world of boxing because you have so many titles. You have paper champions, non-paper champions, whatever, right? But Anthony Joshua at this moment in time is still a baby inside that ring, and I don't think he's not a baby, but he's not as veteran as Fury or Wilder. Let's just say that, or Klitschko by far. You see, and Anthony Joshua could be fighting for a very long time. He's got years on the clock. But with explosive fighters, we've seen in the past that their explosive nature only lasts a certain amount of time. So I think Anthony Joshua does need to be moved on at a steady, decent pace. But don't take him too slow because this is his prime. It might not last too long. So with Anthony Joshua, right, what makes him effective inside that ring? If you look at the old school fighters, right, whether that's Tyson, Frazier, we're going to just focus on them two at the moment, right? They had Bob and Weave style. These were known as some big hitters. However, when you look at Sonny Liston, we look at Joe Louis, we look at George Foreman. These were fighters who faced other fighters in their time where they were either taller or the same size. Joe Louis didn't really struggle with height. Rocky Marciano struggled with height. So he had a kind of, you could say, a Fraser, Tyson-esque style. You know, you could categorize them three in one place. George Foreman, Sonny Liston, Joe Louis, although the styles are totally separate. In terms of what am I talking about? I'm talking about waist movement. Okay? Anthony Joshua doesn't do too much of this. He doesn't lower levels. Okay? Anthony Joshua stands upright. Okay? Catch. He's got a decent back and forth style, right? But he likes to catch. Joshua loves to catch punches. Okay? He doesn't fight, right, square on like this. Like Tyson used to fight like this. Fraser used to fight a lot like this. Quite a few fighters in the past have fought in quite an open target style. Anthony Joshua doesn't give his opponent much position to land on the body. He actually fights a lot like this, okay? And as Anthony Joshua fights, right, he keeps both hands up. He doesn't fight. A lot of fighters keep one hand down, use the shoulder to block. He doesn't do that. Anthony Joshua comes in, hands held high, which is a good style. His chin's up in the air because he is taller, but you see, in today's boxing, for Anthony Joshua, this is a very good style. Joe Louis used it, Sonny Liston used it, and George Foreman used it, okay? They didn't have much waist movement, and you don't have to have a lot of waist movement to have decent defense, okay? And there's benefits and there's drawbacks. The main drawback is it leaves you more open to counter punches, and because if you're punching here, right, and you miss, you're open here, okay? If you throw like that, right, and you've got waist movement, right, a lot of the time you're going to be harder to hit because your head's a moving target. Anthony Joshua doesn't have this. Anthony Joshua will move about this much. If you're moving this much, right, and you're moving levels up and down, it's going to be very difficult. But the thing that stands out straight away is that this style takes up a lot of energy. Okay? It takes up a lot of energy. As soon as you start moving your waist, if you've got a lot of muscle, which Anthony Joshua does have, it zaps energy. Okay? Tyson was good in early rounds, but lacked in the later. Okay? He had significant power, but lacked later on in the fight. Okay? Waist movement definitely takes up a lot of energy, okay? Dropping levels, Saul Alvarez style, it takes up so much energy. You have hard one punch knockouts, you have everything in the book, your defense is good, you seem like you've got a granite chin, but it's not actually the chin, it's the fact that your chin's tucked down, right? And you don't get hit, you're easier to outbox because you're at a lower level. You know, the opponent doesn't have to punch upwards or punch this way, you've just got to punch downwards, and it's easier to connect you because you're more in range. depending on your height and whatnot, there's a few things, but let's not go into that, alright? But look, right, but with Anthony Joshua, he stands upright and he fights like this, okay? And he'll catch, like this, and he'll catch, okay? And he'll use his footwork, right? And he's not that slow on his feet as Anthony Joshua. He's not very fast, but he's not slow jumping from here to there, in range, out of range. He's not that bad like that. He concentrates on a lot on plyometric exercises, which give him fast feet, okay, to maneuver in and out, right, of range. And this is what Anthony Joshua fights like. Anthony Joshua, right, he's got a nice jab, a beautiful jab. But what he does is, like I said, he doesn't use too much waist movement, but he will make you miss by about this much, right? And we can see in his last fight where he won the IBF title against Charles Martin. Charles Martin, right, who was a southpaw, threw a lazy jab, right? A lazy jab has its benefits as well, because when you change the speed of your punch, right, your opponent can sometimes miss it, and bang, you can follow straight with the left. It throws timing off different speed of punches. That's why lazy jab sometimes can be good if you know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, it's dangerous. Okay? Charles Martin threw a lazy jab, right? And I think he was going for the left, I forget. But whatever, Anthony Joshua just moved just enough, right? And Anthony Joshua was actually at an angle. And this is the other thing. Anthony Joshua uses subtle angles, okay? He doesn't use huge angles where he'll pivot from here to here and he'll check hook cue. He doesn't do that stuff, right? He's not a back foot fighter. He's a come forward, aggressive style fighter who can catch you, right, when you're in exchanges. And Anthony Joshua is very good, right, at just slightly changing the angle, right? Charles Martin was a southpaw, so if you imagine a southpaw with his right foot forward, right, Joshua would catch it. I think he caught him, yeah, I believe Charles Martin, he was punching this way. Joshua caught him square on. He connected him if you look at it, pretty much in the middle of the chin. It was slightly at an angle. It was slightly like to the side. But Charles Martin went flying back on himself, square on. So Joshua, because most knockdowns occur due to off-balance issues. And Anthony Joshua caught him, Charles Martin, at an angle. Meaning, Joshua is fully aware of how to use angles, right, slight angles, and connect and counterpunch, okay? And when he punches Anthony Joshua, he gets a lot of power into his punches, not from his legs, because when you use your legs too much, right, when you're bobbing and weaving, like that sort of style, right, what we were talking about before, it takes up a lot of energy. You can't maintain it for many rounds. Anthony Joshua does a lot of weightlifting. He has so much power, right, he has a lot of power. He has enough power to be able to knock you out from here. Now, if Tyson Fury tried that, Tyson Fury wouldn't have enough power to knock out the majority of opponents with the punch that Anthony Joshua throws. For Fury to knock someone out, he would have to really load up on it and hurt and cause the same amount of damage that Joshua can cause, that Anthony Joshua can cause in a smaller punch. You see, with less leverage, because he's so built. But obviously, the downside to that is that you will get gassed out easier. Okay, same thing with Wilder. Let's forget Wilder, man. It's a totally different fighter. But let's not go off tangent. Look, Anthony Joshua, yeah, he likes to, right, this is how he fights. He'll fight here, and there's a benefit to fighting here because you can get leverage in your shots through different ways. You don't have to always use your legs and your whole body. You can get leverage through rotating. See? That jab, cross, left hook. It's very fundamental, but when you're fighting like this, right, see? This here, this rotation here, right? So you got jab, right? So we got jab, right cross. It's like he gets good rotation on the punch here, you see? Right? And he uses his angles, right? So he could move this way, throw it this way if he needs to catch you at an angle, punching that way, right? He can come this way, bang, and whatever he does, right, if you notice, Anthony Joshua, all his punches come off this rotation. Not all fighters fight like that, you know. But and another thing is, when Anthony Joshua fights, he a problem he's got, right, which I think he should fix, is throwing the uppercut from the outside. When you throw the uppercut from the outside, Ali used to do it. Joe Frazier caught him, right? Because Ali used to throw an uppercut from here, right, and Frazier caught him with the left hook and knocked him down. It's a dangerous punch to throw from the outside. We've got Ali in the back, right, and you can see he was so fast, bam, bam, bam. He used to throw combinations from the outside, and you got to remember Ali wasn't perfect technically. Okay, he had a lot of flaws, did Ali, but he got away with it because he was so fast in comparison to the opponents he faced. With Anthony Joshua, right, his use of angles, his quick in and out footwork, he's not that slow on his feet. Sonny Liston, as an example, was very, very slow on his feet. I'm not sure if that is Liston fighting, I can't really see, but it might be. Anyway, right, look, when Liston fought, when all these fighters that Ali was facing, Ali's foot speed was so much faster that he could dance around them, and his opponent, who, whether that was Liston, Patterson, a lot of them, they struggled to be able to jump in and out because you didn't have the science that we have today in terms of strength, conditioning, etc. Joshua's got that. Joshua is very quick on his feet, jumping from here to here. He's not a slow fighter. He's not slow-footed. But Anthony Joshua does need to load up a bit on punches. He's good at hitting you like this and this. He's got a good rotation here, right? He's got a good rotation. Jab, jab, cross. He's got good fundamentals. Bang, bang, bang. Right? He's got very good combinations. But he likes to. If you're coming at him, he'll just catch it. He doesn't like to move his head to dodge punches. He chooses the catch, and he'll catch, bang, and he'll shoot, and that's his style. And it's a good style. It's effective for him. It's working so far. But where Joshua will struggle, in my opinion, I've said this before, is where he's facing a fighter who can dance and who can move. Because as soon as he fights a fighter who can dance and move, right, and even if it's Wilder, because Wilder is quick on his feet, right, Joshua's going to find that someone who's good at this style, that if he can't land punches that matter, loaded, bang, hard punches on his opponent, and he's not getting them out of there in one punch, how does he then get combinations off, right, where he's not getting caught back? Because it's very easy in this sort of style where you're not moving your head, right, to get caught with a counter punch. Very easy, right? And your chin's up as well, because Joshua's tall. Dylan White showed us that. You can get caught when you're throwing combination punches from the outside, and because if the one punch doesn't work, the one hit knockout, it's not working, then one hit pot shots. If they're not knocking your opponent out, which Anthony Joshua knocks a lot of his opponents out like that, and your opponent isn't backing up to the ropes where you can load them really good looking combinations, then Anthony Joshua is going to struggle, in my opinion, to be able to break his opponent down and outpoint his opponent, because he's added that extra mass. And it has its benefits, but it's definitely got its flaws. But then you see it lasting 12 rounds and being able to hit the pot shots, being able to take Anthony Joshua into late rounds where you can continue moving around that ring in heavyweight boxing and don't get stopped. It's a big ask, okay? But it's doable, okay? I'm not going to say who can do that, but there's only a few fighters in boxing who can actually do that. If you're shorter than Joshua, you've got to have a hell of a punch and be able to last 12. And you've got to be able to take his punching power as well, because Joshua will land several punches in the fight. Then pot shots will land. When he's throwing his combinations, you've got to catch him, knock him out. Joshua's a good fighter. He's brilliant. How good he is, we'll have to see. For me, he's got combinations when you're against the ropes. I don't think he's got very good combinations and head movement and defense together when you're mixing with him. And I definitely think that's going to be his vulnerability. Throw with Joshua, but what's the downside to that? You get caught, you get knocked out. So that's the problem. And that's what makes Joshua very effective. These are things that I've noticed about Anthony Joshua. Very good puncher, a lot of punching power. He's got speed, he's got accuracy, but with every single style you've got a downside, and I've said the downsides to Anthony Joshua, but I think he uses angles very well. He's got a good catch and shoot style. It doesn't take too much energy the way he fights. And I think Anthony Joshua's going to go a long way, and he's already a world champion. But let's see how he performs against the elite level fighters who can dance and who can move, such as Fury, such as Wilder. And them two fights are definitely going to be the fights. Even Klitschko would be a very difficult fight for him, because Klitschko can move, Klitschko can box, and these fighters aren't going to get out of there in one punch. But maybe Anthony Joshua could prove us wrong, and maybe I'm not saying that he doesn't beat any of these guys. I'm just saying that it would be a big ask, and that's where we're going to truly see Anthony Joshua, how much skill he's really got, and if he's really got because he stands a puncher's chance in every fight. That's the thing, and he's dangerous. But he's not like Tyson. Tyson threw in combinations. Tyson had a bob and weave style. Tyson was a totally different animal. And Tyson was less likely to get knocked out because he was short, because he kept his chin tucked down. Joshua doesn't. He's got a totally different style. We could say he's a mix between a tall fighter like Ali and Tyson. You could say, he's a mix between them sort of fighters. He keeps himself tall, but he does knock opponents out. So it's very effective, very unique. So he does look up to Joe Louis. It's very apparent in his fights how he looks up to Joe Louis, because Joe Louis was a fighter who used to be able to time punches coming in and throw when you're throwing and knock you out that way. Comment section below, subscribe as always. Anthony Joshua. In a bit, guys.